Hi, everyone. Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my pleasure to introduce you to, I want to say your name. This is a fun name. How you doing, Pam?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Teresa.
My pleasure. So I'm just going to do a quick intro, and then we're going to come right back to you. Okay, Pam?
Hmm.
1 second now. So Pam she is the author of When in Rome, my fast-paced comedy travel memoir. That sounds exciting. Let's talk about your book.
Yeah, my grandparents were British, but they lived in Egypt and South Africa in the 1930s. And then my mom went to Kenya and Tanzania in the 1970s. So I was 24 years old. My moving truck had just been stolen, full of everything I owned. And I was just like, why haven't I traveled yet? It's in my blood. And so I moved to Utah with my sister to Park City to wait tables. And there was a man there named Jay. And we didn't date or anything, but I said, what are you doing when the snow melts? He goes, I'm going surfing in South Africa. I go, that sounds fabulous. And he goes, you want to go? He just threw it out there. You want to go? I go, yeah. He goes, tickets $1,175. And I had $1,200 to my name. So the next day I emptied my bank account, handed it to him, and we were leaving in 1 month. So I sold my car to go. So I had $3,300 when we actually left. And he was shocked. He just goes, everybody has excuses of why they can't go, but yeah, let's do this. As soon as we landed there, we bought a car. We took a 25-hour train ride, and then we bought a car and cruised the entire coast of South Africa. Then about 6 weeks in, his sister decides to get married, and he doesn't want to miss out. So he goes home, and I just go, I'm having a blast. I'm going to stay in South Africa. And then on the way home, Jay has taught me to travel so cheaply that I've only spent $900 in 3 months. And this is mid 1990s. So you could never do that again today. But he taught me to travel so cheap that you just buy a bag of white rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's a $2 bag will last you an entire week instead of $5, $10 at a cafe every meal. And he taught me to wash my clothes in a sink with a bar of soap. And we slept in the car half the time and just a lot of crashing on new friends' couches. So it was not glamorous by any means, but it was definitely an adventure. But I wasn't ready to go home. So on the flight home, we stopped in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I asked the stewardess, I go, can I get off the flight? She goes, yeah, sweetie, your ticket's good for a year. So I just beamed. I called my mom, don't pick me up yet. And so I continued on through Singapore and Thailand, Malaysia. And then I started going Sumatra, Java, Bali, Lombok, all through Indonesia. And then Australia's right there, New Zealand's right there. And I was traveling so dirt cheap that halfway through, I started working along the way, and it turned into 3 years overseas solo on my own there.
That is fantastic. I'm thinking the whole time, wait a minute, she's run out of money by now. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, how did she do
Well,
it?
Asia itself was very cheap. You can live on $5 a day back then,
Yeah,
and
there's
that includes your taxi rides, your hotel at night, and your three meals. So $5 a day, and these hotels were not fancy by any means, but it was livable. So I'd only spend another $1,000 in 4 or 5 more months of Asia. So when I got to Australia, I still had 1,500, and I started picking up jobs immediately. So that was allowing me to keep going.
that's fantastic. Now hold your book up. We want to see your book.
Oh, sure. I got it right here. For 20 years, I would crack a joke to some friends and they'd go, you should write a book. I was signing my letters home, Pamdiana Jones, like I'm Indiana Jones, because this is all before email. So when I got an email address, it was Pamdiana Jones. And then when I thought, let me pick an author name, Pamdiana Jones. And my book is called When in Rome, ROAM, like you're roaming around. And let me just zoom in a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm on a bungee platform and I've just told my friend I don't want to go. And he goes, okay. And then he shoves me.
I
And
love it.
I, I'm just, I'm more fearful than a normal person. I go, am I even clipped in right? Did you remember that I wasn't going? So that picture suits everything that I fumbled my way into and out of in the book. I just have this optimistic, dumb bubble around me. Just everything's going to be great. I'm going to hitchhike with people. I'm going to try this. I'm going to go stay at some dude's house that I just met 5 seconds ago. I'm going to hop in that hitchhiking car. I end up getting chased by a herd of elephants in South Africa.
Oh my
I
gosh.
got out of the car. I end up sleeping on top of a live volcano that's just killed 50 people, and I don't know this. So I just go, yeah, I'll climb that volcano and I'll just hike up there. And another part, I'm learning to scuba dive in Australia, and I cut my hand really bad. I get a big old gash in my hand, and it's gushing blood. And through the blood, I see a big shark. And I'm so pissed off that I spent this money. I'm not getting out. I'm going to stay in. So now I'm just searching for this shark for the whole 45 minutes. I don't know. They smell blood for miles and they all come running like ringing the dinner bell. So I'm lucky to be alive. I got to tell you, this is
I
a
would,
travel disaster the whole time.
I'm just like, what? That's exciting. I would have been scared out of my mind, Pam. That's
I
amazing.
I have this weird optimism. Everything's gonna be fine because it always is. So my guardian angel is exhausted. I just see him in the background doing tequila shots, going, Pam, no, don't get in the car. Pam, stop, get out of the water when the shark is bleeding. So I just have this vision of my guardian angel just going, have
What
fun,
an exciting time. Oh, I love it.
fun
Now,
time.
is the book the memoirs of the entire adventures that, because you had 3 years in there that I can tell. How long did you actually travel for, Pam?
It's over 2.5 years in
Yeah, I
this
thought it
book.
was around that.
And
Okay.
then I am currently nearly done with my second book. I'm
Oh,
going to call it Roaming Oceania. And I've got the cover made, but I haven't revealed it yet. But I don't want to spoil the ending here. But this book, I travel solo. And then the next book, I go meet all the friends I've traveled to in their countries. You're in New Zealand, you meet Dutch people. So let me go over there. Let me meet my friend in Canary Islands. Let me go. One gal invites me through the South Pacific. We go to Easter Island, Tahiti, Marias, Western Samoa, Fiji, Cook Islands. So just another adventure with some of the friends you met from book one. And then I think I have a third book in me eventually. My husband and I have traveled quite a bit before we had kids. And let me back up a little bit. I came home after all those travels and I married a high school sweetheart. Isn't that cute? We had 16 years apart. We'd only gone on a few dates
I
back
was
in the
actually
80s.
going to ask you, Pam, if you had a family through all of this and if you met people and if you got married. I was actually going to ask you that. So that's good. How many
Okay.
children do you have?
Dan is his name, and we went on 2 dates before he joined the army and he left. And when he came back, I was gone. And when I was gone, he got married to someone else. And my sister called me when I was 32 and she goes, Guess who's single? And I went, No way. So I was just moving into a condo and I go, I'm moving. He goes, What are you doing this weekend? I go, I'm moving into a condo. He goes, I'll come down and help you move. And he never left. He moved in the first date.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I have learned nothing from my travels. So I tell my kids that story and I go, don't ever do that, kids. But we struggled with infertility for a little while. And then on my 2 weeks before I turned 40, I had a boy girl twins. So I
Oh,
just feel
that's
like I
so
won the
neat.
lottery there.
Oh,
What's
did
that?
you ever? Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, they're 14 now. My son is Bryce, my daughter is Hunter, and the book is dedicated to all of those guys because
I love
I
the names too.
thank you.
Yeah.
My husband's grandfather, he was 95, and when he heard the names, he goes, What kind of names are those? Agnes isn't really popular anymore. So it's
No,
still,
but you know what? So I'm just amazed at everything you did. I'm so glad you came on the show to talk about it because a lot of people think about doing all of these things, but you're like, "Well, I don't know, stops you and you're
yeah.
not really into it. And then of course, marriage, you get married, you have a family, and that kind of slows you down. But now you're talking more adventures. So I'm thinking, are we taking the kids on the next one? What's the plan?
We do. When Dan and I first got together in our 30s, we went to Costa Rica and he had never traveled before. And he goes, I love it. We're young. We can go somewhere new every year. So we did that until the kids arrived. And then now 4 tickets is just more expensive. And we're just regular people. So we can go every 3 years.
Oh,
So the kids
okay.
went to Hawaii when they were 1.5. Then they went to Australia when they were 5. Then they went to Bali and Hong Kong right before the lockdown. They were almost 9.
Wow.
And then we went to Hawaii again when they were 12. And then just this summer, we went all through Europe. I'd never been through Europe much. I've been to England several times because I have relatives out there, but we went all through Italy for a month and we got the French Riviera, but we stopped in London and Norway on the way in and out, and Vatican and Monaco were little countries of their own. So it turned into a 6 country epic journey there over the summer.
What a great experience for your family.
And leave it to me, things that go wrong. I got smacked in the knee by a dog at the dog park by a 200 pounds of dog just running around smacking me. So right before we left, I was in a wheelchair at the Coliseum. My husband had to push me over the cobblestone streets in a 100-degree heat wave. And I have crutches in crowded Venice, 100-degree heat, and I get laryngitis. I can't even say, excuse me. So I'm just getting smacked around like crutches the
So,
whole time. So that's going into book 3 for sure.
so you have elephants that have chased you, sharks that have been circling around you that you weren't sure about. Now you this. That's
Oh,
fantastic.
it never stops.
Senior year.
The weirdest things always happen to me. I'm starting to just see the comedy in it. Oh, that'll be in the next book. Like
Oh
I gotta have this
yeah.
experience now. So some of it isn't fun, but I love the word adventure because that doesn't mean it's a guaranteed fun. That's why Indiana Jones, sometimes he's getting knocked around and getting bullied and get kidnapped and tied up, but he's always all right. No, he's got a sarcastic sense of humor about it. So do I.
What a wonderful life you've had, Pam. Honestly, to be able to take that on and to travel, and your husband's supportive of you guys going, so that's good because sometimes people meet up and one doesn't like to travel, and that would
Yeah.
be not as much fun. And whether you love them or not is not as much fun, right? You've got the perfect recipe together. Now, I know you have two books now, and you mentioned a third. You know what I'm thinking down the road? I think everybody here agrees we could see a movie coming out of this, can't we? Wouldn't
Well,
that be something?
I never thought of my life in that way, but when Eat, Pray, Love and Cheryl Strayed's Wild
Yeah.
came out, I thought, why not write mine down too?
And
These are
I'm
great
thinking the other
adventure
one
women's
in
lives.
Italy. So
What was
I interrupted you, but I was thinking even the one in Italy, Under the Tuscan Sun, where
oh,
she
I love that
adventured.
movie. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
movie.
so I'm thinking there's got to be a show here.
That would be awesome, but you never know what's going to stick with people. But I just want to say I was inspired by those two books, and I thought, why not me? While Cheryl does that big hike, she doesn't finish it. And I'm like, I've got more than one country in there. And even Eat, Pray, Love, her biggest adventures, half the books are divorced. So I wanted to read immediate travel books. That's what I wanted. So I wrote the book that I wanted to read when I got Eat, Pray, Love, because she rides a bike in Bali, she meditates in India, and she eats some pasta in Italy. And I'm like, I have sharks and skydiving. Come on. So
Right?
I thought, and we're very different. So I think she might be a very good girl, and I've got a cuss word and a beer, and I think there might be some more women like me too sometimes. I'm just filled with that. But when you see a shark, there's only one word you can see. You can
That's
see
what I'm
coming out.
thinking. She didn't battle the shark, so it
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
same.
So I think there's a lot of women out there like me too.
Pam, you're doing so well. I just love it. Now you have your twins. That's wonderful. And I know you
Yeah,
said they're
thank you.
14 now. Let's say we're out 5 years from now. What are your next plans?
Gosh, Italy was a little more expensive than we had dreamed of. So it's, oh, the bills are rolling in now. But we said next time, let's go to back to some of the cheaper countries like Thailand or Vietnam or something. But we love doing the three, four countries in one go. When we stopped in Bali, we stopped in Hong Kong as well. So my kids got it in their heads. Let's go to every continent. So they've been around it. So we haven't been to Africa as a family. So I would love to go to Egypt. My daughter has an Egyptian middle name, and my grandparents used to live there, and so I feel tied to it and I haven't been there yet. So someday.
That sounds wonderful. I would love that too. I'm not a big adventurous person. I've certainly been to Europe and I've been to the States, but I have to admit I haven't been outside of either of those after. And I loved it at the time, but it's not in my DNA to travel. However, I love hearing about other people's travel, which is different, right?
That's what I just want to read, travel memoirs from everybody. So I love all the books out there. I just read them all, and I just think that's fabulous that there's adventurers, and you can see the growth in people in different ways. You can see, like, I was devastated when my moving truck got stolen. I thought the world was over. And my sister says, why don't you, well, you can just go buy all the stuff again. You can save up and go get that same couch. You can save up. And I thought that will depress me further. I have to go pay for everything twice. So I said, no, I need to change this and go a totally different way. So when that trip came up, I packed my few things in a tiny backpack and off we went. And that turned out to be the most freeing thing because now I'm free from the rat race I was just about to get into as a young woman.
Isn't
So
that something?
now I know there's another life than this. There's 10,000 other lives than the one you were raised in. And I
And I
love
would
that.
add all the people that you met along the way because you mentioned them.
Yeah.
So now you've not only experienced the countries, but the culture and different, you're coming back with a lot of wonderful people in your mind that you've networked with. And now you can go back and see all about them. I think that's fantastic. Networking only in real person, right?
It's so unique to have traveled 30 years ago compared with now and to do it single versus with a family because I would turn and when I was alone, I would just go, excuse me, where's a good place to have lunch or I'm new here. And they'd go, oh, my grandma's having a barbecue. Come over. And then I end up staying at the grandma's house and I go to their family wedding or something. You're all, okay.
That's great.
But to
But with the
nobody
whole family, it's
yeah,
different,
nobody
right?
puts up a family
Yeah.
of four. So
Yeah.
you gotta also with the cell phones, put your cell phone down if you want to meet people.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Well, let
everybody
me
wants to can't stare at the wall. Yeah, stare at the wall and look around, people watch, and someone will go, hey. and that's your person you're supposed to meet.
So let me ask you, so traveling in the 90s to traveling now, the cost too for everything would be
Oh, sure, yeah.
considerably different. The tickets would be quite a bit more now, right? But you mentioned technology. So actually you'd be able to get around easier. You certainly can find things.
It's different.
And
Yeah,
the
it's
language you could probably, because we have translators now on our
yeah.
phones.
That's
So
so it's easier, but it's harder because of the just it's like your washing machine. Did you save time by putting it in a washing machine instead of the old-fashioned way of doing everything by hand? Sure. But what do you actually do with that time is be busy doing the dishes now. So you're still busy. So this was to be more connected, but it makes us less connected in some ways. You're more connected to that cousin you haven't seen in England, but
yeah.
the people sitting right next to you that would love a conversation, there's a little bit of loss there,
Oh, that's
especially
a good point.
yeah, especially if kids today are raised with a tablet right in front of their face every time they go out to eat. They don't know how to talk to waiters and waitresses, and they don't know how. My kids have tablets, but they stay home. They just got their first cell phones at 14. So we'd go out to dinner as a family, and waiters would stop us and go, how are you doing this? We go, we just talk. We just enjoy each other's company. Like, how are you not? How is the 4-year-old in charge of the whole family? So I don't understand that.
Yeah, oh no, but that's the way it should be, right?
I think so.
That's family. That's what it's all about. And if you can do that, that's really good. And it's important for your children too. And as they're traveling with you too, and I know you're not as much now, but what an education for them. I mean,
It's true.
compared to seeing it on a map and actually being there, that's two different things, right?
I think everything is hilarious. So when the kids were in TK, do you have TK in kindergarten in Canada?
Yes,
It,
yes.
it's like transitional kindergarten when you're just born in
Junior
the
and
wrong month.
senior.
Yeah, so you have to wait to get into kindergarten just by age. So my kids were in TK, and that's when we went to Australia. So I went to the principal and I go, "Yeah, we're going to need a packet of homework." And she goes, "Oh, how long are you going for?" I go, "Oh, a month." And she goes, "We can't go." So I almost started laughing. I went, "Oh, tickets have been bought, so we'll just take the homework packet." What are you even talking about? And she goes, "We can't go. That's just too long." And I go, "Oh no, what's going to happen?" I go, "Is the truant officers going to come to my house? What should I say?" And she goes, "They are just in TK." And I went, "Yeah, they're just in TK." So I end up taking the homework. We do the homework. We come back and we land, and the classroom has been set up like an airplane. And the first stop they go is Australia.
Oh, isn't that
So
something?
I'm in trouble for taking my kids to Australia, but that's your actual lesson. Why don't you have my kids write a little report and tell you what they learned? So
Right?
I was just shocked. I didn't realize, oh, they get paid if you attend, and they don't get paid by your kid if you don't attend.
Was
That was
that what
back in, yeah. So I just
I
didn't
get?
know. That's why call them in sick if you have to. Don't say grandma's visiting because they don't get paid or something. I didn't
Oh,
know
I
all that.
see. Oh,
So
that's too bad because really the education to actually be there is a
yeah,
hundred times better than just in class. And I'm
absolutely.
not saying they shouldn't be in class. I totally understand that. But boy, oh boy, there is a big difference. Then geometry is quite different when you're actually there.
Yes. And
So
we were in TK. They're not in Harvard Medical about to take their
yeah.
final exam. So I think we'll be all right. It was just interesting to see someone go, you can't go. How many moms go, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
I'll get back the tickets. What?
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. We don't go
Understand.
to that school anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. But
Now, where can we get your books, Pam? That's important.
yeah, they're both available. Let me show them again. Pamdiana Jones, When in Rome,
Okay.
Secret of Oak Island by Bertram Smith, but it's also connected to Pamdiana Jones. They're both available on Amazon, Kindle Unlimited as well. They've been already all over the world. Like some of my When in Rome fans are writing to me from islands I've never been to. Hey, look where your book is. I'm going to leave it here and sign it. And then we'll see where the book ends up. Each person who reads it's going to sign it and say where it's from. So I thought that was adorable that fans of mine have just started doing that.
Oh, that's great. Now that brought me to the next question, actually. Did you do a book launch and do you do book signings?
I do book signings. I unfortunately life takes you a different way. So right when I hit publish, I was about to do this whole big debut author thing, but my husband ended up with cancer.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry to hear
we
that.
stopped everything. He's healthy now, but if anybody has cancer in their family, my heart goes out to you. Healthy prayers all the way to your family because that was quite a journey for us all to get through. And he's healthy now, but it took a couple years. So now I have to relearn what I would have learned a few years ago as a new author. So I'm still learning how to put my book out there properly.
Listen, I understand. One, we're very happy that your husband's okay
Thank
now.
you.
I wish
Yeah,
him only the best in life. And he has a wonderful, lovely family that so that's important too when you go through those things. So I'm
yeah,
glad he's okay now. And so I completely understand family first. That's the way it is.
yeah.
That it
That's all
doesn't
that
matter.
mattered. And,
Exactly. So now that we can go forward, so I have another question for you, Pam.
yeah, lay it on me.
Would you come back and see us again before your next book so that we can help launch your next book?
Oh, I would love that.
I would
I've
love to help you on that journey if
I've
you'll
got
let
about
us.
I would love it. The next one's going to be called Roaming Oceania. And it's quite a lot of hilarious adventures of things that only happened to me as well. I've got about 270 pages typed, so it's really more about getting that last 100 pages down on paper and getting it edited and all that stuff. So then it will be ready. I'm hoping for the summer. So
Oh, that would be great. I'd love to have you back and then we can talk. We'll have you back first and then we'll say about when it'll be launched and then we can have you back for the launch. So you can,
lovely.
yeah, we can air it and I'm sure everybody will want to do it. So I want to ask you if somebody wanted to get you, reach out today, what's the best place to reach you?
Oh, I've got a pamdianajones.com website,
Okay.
pam at pamdianajones.com. I got emails there, and at the back of my book, I'm always talking about, I'd love to hear from you, and my information's back there. And I also, if anyone's a book club reader out there, I have just added book club questions to the back of my book. Would you eat this? Would you hitchhike with that person? Would you have chosen those friends? But also, what did you think of this culture and that culture? But also, I added two QR codes. One has the pictures on my website, if you want to see some pictures from my trip, and the other is each town I put a little song for what was popular in the 90s at that time. So it's a 90s 70s, 80s, 90s playlist for what was going on at that time. And a lot of current events. Nelson Mandela was just a brand new president in South Africa, and O.J. Simpson trial happened right when I was gone. And real things happen too. I lose a family member, and I just have to decide, do I keep going? Do I stay? Do I go? And I escaped some violence. Let's put it that way. There's a stabbing on the train in South Africa on the first page, and it's all my fault. Oh, no, you got to read what happened. Yeah.
Oh
So,
my goodness, we want to read that. I can't wait to get your books.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
honestly, Pam, you're wonderful. I really truly appreciate your coming on today. You're such a delight, honestly.
Thank you
So,
for having me.
oh, my pleasure. I'm going to put all your information here. We'll get all of that. So
I would love that.
everyone, yeah, please check out Pam's social media. Go get her books on Amazon and Kindle.
Yeah,
Make sure you get that and absolutely look for her in future episodes here. I can't wait to have you back, Pam.
thank you so much.
Absolutely. And for everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye bye now.